Let's move on to our second story. The Nigerian government has continuously identified the need to develop small and medium enterprises in the country, particularly at a time when oil revenue is dwindling. Let's play this report.
Foreign exchange shortage remains a challenge for many Nigerian businesses as the country's primary commodity, crude oil, continues to attract low price on the international market. Nigeria Statistics Agency says of all enterprises in the country, 97% fall within the small and medium scale grouping. Entrepreneurs under the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry are gathered here to discuss strategies that could help reposition the sector as a catalyst for economic growth and development. Nigerian businesses are also being encouraged to take advantage of the Africa Growth Opportunity Act (AGOA) for trade expansion into United States market.
One of the ways we can get out of this recession is through exports, increasing our exports in the non-oil sector. And how do we do that? AGOA has given us a platform which we can do that. So we have a lot of agro-allied industries here. So what we need to do actually is to make sure our products, we make them up to international standard. The moment we get them to international standard that are acceptable all over the world, we can now start exporting them to the US using the AGOA scheme.
Nigeria might be out of the woods soon if small and medium-scale enterprises can increase their commitment.
All right, that's of course is our second big story, and joining us at the moment is a former chairman, Agriculture Group, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Wale Oyekoya. Thank you very much indeed for coming at the moment. And of course, we also have a farmer, Shola Bumi Adeyemi, on Skype. Thank you very much indeed for coming as well. Now, let me begin with you here in the studio. Of course, we understand the role that small and medium scale enterprises play in the development of the economy of a nation. Let's look at the Nigerian economy as it is at the moment. Do you think that we have the right environment to play in the development of the economy of a nation? Let's look at the Nigerian economy as it is at the moment. Do you think that we have the right environment for SMEs to grow?
Well, definitely SME cannot be really under-quantified in the sense that SME has always been the backdrop of any economy of any nations. Any nation that really wanted to strive economically must carry along not even the SME, even the MSME, the micro. Because we have a whole lot of micro businesses in Nigeria, it's only we are neglecting them. Because when you talk of this, most of the hairdressers and all these vulcanizers, we categorize them to be under the micro plan. The small scale and the medium scale, but definitely with the way we are going now, we just have to really intensify on the MSME, not just the SME.
Okay, let me bring in Shola Bumi Adeyemi here joining us on Skype. Now, Shola, you have been in the agro world or agro business all the while. Ikechukwu just asked a question, how very conducive the environment is. We know that the government of Nigeria has taken agriculture to be one of its focal points when it comes to diversifying the economy. But what strategy are you seeing that are on ground or on the ground towards encouraging agriculture in Nigeria?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you. The first thing, the great process that the government to take towards that, and it's a welcome with Jet2, we have from jolly moving from the issue of to practically making things up. We can see this year with the issue of that price. If we are really serious on getting down to the root and making things happen in agricultural ag business, we can actually we can produce what we want to eat, and in terms of protein, all we just have to do is put the right people in the right and the right thing at the right time. We should stop moving around Abuja. We should go into the bush, make things happen, and each state to support the federal government in the area of agri development and small business development. At the end of the day, if we continue the way we are going now in terms of making things happen, I'm not talking about the issue of having some sort of policy, sustainable policy, just the environment, and I'm sure that we'll get it right. People is actually a lot of people, especially in the area of women, a lot of people are ready to get into agriculture. Agriculture is one of those sectors actually.
Okay. All right, but Shola, sorry, are you seeing any strategy so far with all the intention and the passion and from the statements from government, but are you seeing any strategy so far, apart from the potential of what the government has and what Nigeria has? Are you seeing any tangible strategy so far?
Well, in the area of strategy, for me, no. But in the area of walking the talk to, no. But the thing is, for the fact that the government is supporting it and they talk about it, if you look at the budget statement for 2017, if you look at the way the president, everything he said, you will see that it actually, as an entrepreneur that should have an eagle eye for opportunity, I see that the future of agric is bright. But doing now, no. But because they are saying we are going to diversify, we need to produce, we need to start looking at things that we need to start developing our exportable crops like cocoa, oil palm, and all those things. Fine. For investors, for private sector, because government cannot do everything. The major thing we need for them is sustainable policy, basic and lobby infrastructures, and conducive environment. Now, for the private investors now, because the language is good, because they are talking about it and they are moving around it, then we need to start keying into it. But when you now say from the government aspect, doing the key thing, no, as of now. But I don't know what will happen tomorrow.
Okay, Shola, let's put you on hold with Wale. It's time for the news update. Let's give you what the stories are making headlines right now.
Former Governor of Delta State James Ibori has been released from a United Kingdom prison. Ibori was released yesterday after his lawyers successfully challenged a decision not to free him.
Now, his lawyers had approached the court on Tuesday to challenge the British Home Office decision that he would remain detained on the grounds that his confiscation hearing had not been concluded. Ibori was sentenced 4 years ago to 13 years in prison after pleading guilty to charges of money laundering and conspiracy to defraud. He served some of the terms concurrently.
In other stories, the Nigerian Army says that it has rescued 1,880 women and children from the Sambisa forest, the Boko Haram stronghold.
The theater commander of Operation Lafia Dole, the military operation in the northeast, said the troops also arrested more than 500 suspected members of Boko Haram. Major General Lucky Rabo assured that the soldiers have successfully mopped up all the areas in Sambisa forest.
And for millions of Nigerians whose staple food is rice, this story it's going to be very scary. The Nigerian Customs said that officers intercepted about 100 bags of plastic rice and sacks that had no date of production.
According to Mohammed Haruna, Customs Area Controller in Lagos, the bags of plastic rice were labeled as beet tomato rice, meant for distribution during this festive season. Haruna says a suspect has been arrested and assured that the seized commodity will be handed over to the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration, NAFDAC.
Small and medium enterprises are very vital to the growth of any nation, Mike.
Yes.
And of course, that's our second big story today. And we have Wale Oyekoya in the studio here with us, former chairman of Lagos Chamber of Commerce. Yeah. So now let's look at the partnership. Something very laudable just happened, the lake rice that it's coming out at the moment. The partnership between Lagos and which state? Kebbi State. It's a very laudable idea, isn't it?
We have a different opinion about it. As long as the governor Ambode is totally committed to agriculture in Lagos State, But my view is that why going all the way to Kebbi and bring rice to Lagos when we are surrounded by water? I remember if you look at most of the places like in Ikorodu, Ekpe, Badagry, we have a whole lot of river line that we can even, what I was expecting is like a exchange of technology, not exchange of products.
Yeah, but does Lagos State have that kind of massive land for the production of rice in that quantity?
We do. If we really put our interest into the right place. We have been on this thing now, the government of Lagos State and Kebbi have been on this thing now since March. And rice only takes between 6 to 9 months to grow.
But does Lagos have that fertile land for rice?
Definitely. I used to grow rice in my own farm, and a lot of farmers around Afero, Ibejuleki, Ikorodu, Agbowa. Yes, because rice grows in a very swampy areas. You can't tell me that we don't have swampy area in Lagos. We just need the technology. And what I was expecting, I'm not saying it's not a laudable program, but I believe that we should be able to do more because of logistics.
No, but you know, Lagos State is very populated at the moment.
Yes.
And housing estates are taking over, you know,
all the lands.
Many of the spaces that we have. In view of this, you think that Lagos State has still got because if you look at the partnership, Ambode, the governor of Lagos State, said, look, Kebbi State, you have got the expanse of land for us to use, and now let's provide the resources in terms of, you know, finance now. Okay. So you think that, don't you think they would have put all of that into consideration before the partnership was put in place? When
they started this thing, yeah, I was of the opinion, I sat down with some of these government officials that are listening. It's a very good initiative, but we have to look at the logistic. I remember one time about 10 years ago when the northern area, when they stopped bringing all their produce to Lagos, that for 10 days, Lagos was really suffering.
Yeah, it was because there was an issue with the tomatoes in there. It wasn't because they stopped.
No, there was no issue. It was just because of the way they are being taxed. Not during the tomato Ebola. That was just last year. Okay. I'm talking about 10 years ago when Fashola was still there. And I was of the opinion that telling all the Lagos State, I mean, most of the Southwest governors that this is a wake-up bed that we need to put our own destiny into our own hands in the Southwest instead of depending mostly in the North. There's nothing wrong, we're still all Nigerians. But what I was still expecting, as we are doing this, let the Lagos State be having interest in some of the local farmers also, no matter how little it is, so that you don't care that if you are disappointed, anything could happen on the road. We see what is happening with Boko Haram, with SMEs, that you'll be surprised one day that some of these trailers will be hijacked on the road. So what's going to be happening?
Now, but in the area where you're trying to boost, because it's not just about growing rice, there is the middle chain economic activity along the production of rice. Those who are going to be involved with distribution, those who are going to be involved with production, those who are with the packaging and bagging and all of that, and even the marketing. Even for those who are farmers in Lagos, don't you think this is an opportunity for them to go even outside of Lagos to try to see how they can connect? Now, we also know that some of these states have very different comparative advantage. Sure. The land, the manpower, you have it in the north, especially in Kebbi State when it comes to rice. If we take our minds to Abia State, for instance, the economic hub of Aba, if you go to Anambra State, Nnewi and all of that, if states begin to connect and begin to interact in business like that, don't you think it's going to boost and create a massive employment in the area of small-scale business, the way we're seeing it?
You're right. This is about commerce between states. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
I'm just saying that the Lagos State should be embracing to develop most of the farmers also in Lagos State. I'm not saying the marriage is wrong, but when you talk of logistics, I know what I'm talking about. The government have no business being in the business of doing rice. Let us be very honest. We say, had they been there is an OPS or organized private organization that is doing that, I would say, well, we are trying to create employment. Because you look at it now, most of this production is being done over there. The packaging is being done there. They only bring it here for us to be consumed. And I'm not saying the project is not good. It's a very laudable project. All what I'm saying is that Lagos State, we still have enough land in Lagos State that we can use between now and the next 10 years. Even if we are going to build houses, just like what you rather said, we are not going to develop most of this land in another 10 years. But by and large, let's see how it's going to work. But it's a mandate that we are all watching and see how it's going to exist.
All right. We'll come back to this because we still have Shola Bumi with us on Skype. We have Wale Oyekoya with us here in the studio. Let's go on a break and we come back to dwell more on SMEs we're talking about right now.
Of course, it's still TVC Breakfast, and we are talking about our second big story, that's SMEs, and of course, how important they are to the growth of an economy. Of course, we still have Shola Bumi Adeni, a farmer, talking to us at the moment via Skype in Ado-Ekiti. Shola, thank you for being there again. I asked Wale Oyekoya about the partnership between Kebbi and Lagos State at the moment, where they have started to produce rice in large quantities, and he says that he's got some reservations. Do you also have reservations about that partnership?
Yes, like my boss has said, it's an issue that has different angles. If you are a practical farmer, you have your own reservation. There is this thing I say that government does not really have business in doing business. Now, I don't want to go into that too much. I don't want to waste our time this morning about why and the reason why they shouldn't. But the marriages, any marriage should, or any synergy, I believe before you go on board and say, okay, I want to synergize with this person, it should be a win-win. Now, from the aspect of an agribusiness consultant and a farmer, I believe, because I know that for you to be a governor and you have lovely commissioners, smart and intelligent people, there should be solution on board before you do anything. It's now. The thing is, I believe, and I should be sure that Lagos State will have nothing less than 5,000 to 10,000 Lagosians in Kebbi right now on that project. If they don't have up to 5,000 farmers undergoing training based on this Senate program, then Lagos State is just wasting money. Because if you look at the whole value chain, the most ethic part of it is what Lagos State is doing. Lagos State is dropping the font, if I believe that, and they are also taking away the hope in terms of marketing. Now, the production, the value addition, packaging, the process, everything is being done in Kebbi. So what do Lagos State stand to gain from this? Is it consuming? So it's like you're also importing, a produce into your state to just consume. But I believe that is not going to be. They should put people there to understand it. When you talk about rice, there's no big thing around rice. But the major thing is we might not have a large expanse of land to do these things in high tonnage. I do rice. I know everything about rice. The only challenge, and I've talked on this platform before, is the issue of birth. And with the new technology in terms of drones and everything, you can actually achieve that. Now, another thing is labor is cheaper. Labor is cheaper in the north compared to southwest. I think that is one of the reasons they are doing that. Lagos State should just send people in, minimum of 5,000-10,000 people, to understudy the process of planting rice in Kebbi, and from there, look at the next 5-10 years, start expanding and practicalize what you've seen over there, so that you can also be sustainable as time goes on. It will get to a stage that each state will start closing their border very soon in the next 10 years in this country, because the way Ogun State is moving, the way each of those states is moving, in the next 10 years, everybody will now have something to trade with the other person, and it's going to be like, what do you have to give me? I have this to give you. So I think Lagos State should do more in terms of sending people to learn on the job as the processing, as the production, which is the farming, the processing, the packaging, as every of those things are going on. Lagos State should learn from.
All right, Shola, let me stay with you on this. The point that you have alongside Wale have said here that government does not have business in going into business outrightly. Now, in agriculture seems to be a very peculiar sector where we don't have that kind of businessmen who have the financial capacity, the financial muscle to go into real big-time commercial farming so far within the country. We have skills, we have people who have the passion, yes, but people with that kind of financial muscle are not there. How will they take advantage of the project between Lagos State and Kebbi State as far as this agriculture or the rice project is concerned?
Okay, I want to correct that impression. We have great people or some investors with the word of knowledge and cash in this country, and those that are ready to come into the country. For example, I'm talking to you live from Ado Ekiti, and we want to do a deal on cocoa, and you imagine moving billions of naira in your truck, looking for cocoa beans. Now, we are in Ndori, we couldn't find what we're looking for, and the next thing is, why can't we just sit down and start doing it? There are a lot of people that want to come into agri, and they have those money, but the thing is, the environment is not conducive. We have some certain policy coming out from the government. So there are a lot of people, once the environment is conducive, it's like the foundation. When the proper foundation is laid, you put a solid, you're going to put your structure and everything will be okay. So you are happy by when you're committing your money, you are happy that you will not have any challenge along the line. Government is supporting agriculture. I'm putting my fund on ground to do agri. And I know that tomorrow they will not just come and say, okay, oh, this is another thing, and I will just lose everything I have. For example, let me tell you, one of the biggest farmer in this country, let's say second biggest farmer in this country, is an individual. He's an individual, fine, he's doing it in the north. He's an individual, and he's doing on almost, I think 3,000 hectares in the north. So a lot of people can come on board. Government just need to provide the infrastructure. Like he said, if you are the water-rhine area, what are you doing about land clearing? They should start opening this land in large, so that the people that are actually interested, you come with your feasibility study, or the government can create a department where you put right people, great agribusiness consultant that can vet these things. So if individuals are coming with lovely proposals on agri things they need to do, then they open land up for them and let them start. Starting on your own ground is better than doing it elsewhere, because you are creating job for those people over there. So a lot of people have money in this country. I don't want us to dwell on the late thing. We should be looking. Is it only rice that we're going to eat? What happens to horticulture? What happens to tomatoes, pepper, vegetables? So there are a lot of things we can do down in the southwest especially.
All right, Shola, you just hold on. We're going to be back to you. Let's give more information on this. SMEs contribute up to 45% of total employment and up to 33% of national income in GDP emerging economies, according to a report by the World Bank.
Now, over the years, Nigeria's SME subsector has witnessed gross underperformance. Now, this has limited its contribution to the country's economic growth and development. The key issues affecting the SMEs in the country are unfriendly business environment. Shall I just mention that briefly now? Poor funding is one of them, low managerial skills and lack of access to modern technology.
Well, but the proposed 2017 budget is promising better days for SMEs and agro-allied businesses. President Muhammadu Buhari, during his presentation, recognized the need for the country to focus on building the economy by producing more rather than depending on imported goods.
Small and medium-sized manufacturers, agro-allied businesses, dressmakers, entertainers, and technology startups. They are the engine of our imminent economic recovery, and their needs underpin the economic recovery and growth plan.
That was the president making a presentation to the National Assembly during the presentation of the budget. Now, let's look at some provisions for this sector in the budget. Now, 50 billion naira has been set aside as federal government's contribution for the expansion of existing as well as the development of new export processing in special economic zones to promote and protect Nigerian businesses.
Well, 20 billion naira as well has been voted for the revival of export expansion grant in the form of tax credits to companies. This will help the development of the agriculture and mining sector.
Now, 15 billion naira has been provided for the recapitalization of the Bank of Industry and the Bank of Agriculture to allow SMEs access longer-term and more affordable credit.
Also, the Development Bank of Nigeria will soon start operations with $1.3 billion for small and medium-sized enterprises.
The agriculture sector is to get 92 billion naira as part of efforts to boost agriculture and diversify the economy. Now, let me bring in Wale here. All the monies we're reeling out, projections for 2017. Now, how optimistic are you that better days are here for SMEs and agro-allied businesses?
Well, this is good on papers. Let me put it that way. We just have to walk our talk. Because this thing has been going on for years. And I remember that for the past 5 years, I think I've always been stating it that the price of foodstuff keep on going up. And if we keep on going up, if we refuse to do the right thing by appropriating the right amount for agriculture, look at what had just been appropriated by 92 billion, which is less than 1.5%, which is against the Maputo agreement of 10% of any African Union members should be able to give about 10% of their budget into agriculture. For the past 5 years and all the successful government, we have never even get closer to 2%. So that shows you that we cannot grow economically. There's no way when you talk of manufacturing, you have to take agriculture into perspective. So by so doing with all this budget that is not really enough, it's going to be another high cost of foodstuff in 2017. I'm very sorry to say that we are going to have a bleak year for the agricultural produce in 2017, which we are already having. I remember this time of last year, we are buying maize like about 50 to 55,000 per ton. As of moment now, it's over 120,000. So that shows you that something is really wrong, and we really need to harness on the production.
All right, we have to end this segment right now. Wale Oyekoya, thank you for joining us. And let me say congratulations on the winning of Donald Trump as president of the United States. He was your boss.
Of course he was, and he's going to be the 45th president of the United States by January 20. We like it.
Yeah. All right. Let's also thank Shola Bumi, Denny Farmer, talking to us in Duikiti. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
All right. Let's go on a break now, and we come back to dwell on our last topic for the day. Stay with us on TVC Breakfast.